Good morning again. Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing another video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know. And this is going to be about the changes of official mandates over the years. And I think that modern people don't commonly understand how dramatically it has changed from the olden times back 100 years ago, 200 years ago, and before. For example, I'm going to bring up again the Salem witch trials. I like to talk about this because a lot of people still don't understand that the courts of the time in Massachusetts and the law enforcement officials would literally tie people to a pole and set them on fire. Okay, I'm going to say that again. It was official punishment, the most official kind of punishment that was recognized and accepted by the authorities, to literally tie women, most of them innocent, by the way, to a pole and set fire to them. So my point is that before that, it was something else. Before that, it was the wheel. It was, a long time before that, I guess. The wheel is when they would take a person who was thought to have committed some kind of heinous crime, and they would break them physically on the wheel. There were, at least, 1,000 other ways to torture and destroy people over the years. And the point isn't to be graphic about it. The point is that it has become official to abuse people every century in one way or another. And as people protest, as people reject these forms of quote unquote justice, official justice, they are replaced by probably less obvious but more insidious forms of abuse, until it becomes, the most politically correct and non-culpatory, if that's the word, non-committal form of abuse, which is to just waste your time endlessly, potentially endlessly, in an official capacity still. Which, if you ask me, is even worse. It's less obvious. We'll just take your time, all of it, if we need to. Whether you did something or not, just turns out same process is in effect, right? The same exact courts, actually, almost the exact same legal system is doing the same thing, just with a different effect. You can't blame them anymore because they aren't actually breaking you on a wheel, but they're putting you in a little box in one way or another. Breaking you that way. We're still breaking you, though. And the problem is that every century we recognize something and then just never change. We change a little bit. We make it less obvious is what we do. So my question, my perennial question, ongoing, is what causes the behavior that we continue to punish, that we continue to react to as a society, as a so-called legal system? What causes it? Where does this stuff come from? Why are people doing things that they know are risky, probably, most of them, and that cause harm to other people? I like to understand the reasons for things. I like to understand motivation so that I can avoid it myself and control it when necessary. You can't resist what makes no sense. So once you understand it, you can resist it. It's just logic. So in this case, criminal behavior, turns out it only has two sources, or a combination thereof. And those are bad information or bad physiology, neurology, bad brains or bad education. So if you impose economic strife on people, if you impose starvation on people and tell them, you're going to feed yourself the hard way and I'm going to take a piece of it every step, you get angry people. You get angry people who want to misbehave, first of all, because they have no way to prevent it or protect themselves other than misbehaving. So the reason they don't misbehave more often, honestly, is because they're afraid of that stick you have. They don't want to get broken on the wheel. But there's a percentage of people who just eventually can't cope anymore, can't function anymore, and they end up developing a habit of being criminals. And I like to think that there's kind of a group effort involved here. There's an environmental problem that is precipitating this kind of behavior. I got to think that if maybe these people didn't have to choose between, eating dinner or eating anything and stealing stuff or not stealing stuff, that their behavior might be better. You think maybe their behavior would be better if they didn't have to steal to eat to begin with? I say have to, and you might object to that. Have to? Do they have to? Is that a choice? Is that a choice? Is starvation a choice? If you tell me that people are able to choose when starvation is the option, I don't think that that's a choice at all. That's not a human choice anyway. That's no kind of choice, if you ask me. So I hope everybody has a great day, and remember the mercies that you actually get. We've got some fans here that you can hear in the background. Some pro establishment fans following me around with leaf blowers. Anyway, have a great day. Reach out with questions or comments to whitehotrobot@gmail.com. Thank you.